from the heart of the region. The King Philip Video Club, in conjunction with Massachusetts Cablevision and local access corporations, present the King Philip Newsline, operated and reported by the students of King Philip, bringing you the sports and issues that affect you and your community. And now, from the Norfolk Access Studio, the King Philip Newsline.
Good evening and welcome to this edition of the King Philip Newsline. I'm Fred Herter.
And I'm Audra Ayotte. Tonight on the local news, we have a story about a fundraiser to be held by the Red Cross next month.
And we'll also have an interview with someone running for a position in class government at King Philip.
And I'm Holly, and I'll be telling you all about the sports of this week.
And I'm Matthew Lazar, and I will bring you the weekend weather preview.
When I was doing cocaine, I got so selfish. I wish I didn't have no one. No kids, no parents, no people who loved me. I didn't care about nothing. That's how crazy it was. I just couldn't get enough. And you know what? Cocaine's not hip. It's hype. Anyone who tells you it's okay is a liar.
Call 1-800-662-HELP.
And now with this week's local news and events, here's our news anchor, Audra Ayotte. Audra?
Norfolk Public Library was pleased to be selected as one of the 848 public libraries in the United States to receive the National Endowment for the Humanities grant for $500 to establish a bicentennial bookshelf of reference works and other books about the Constitution of the United States. A petition has been circulating around Norfolk to purchase two 40-cubic-yard containers to be used for the recycling of glass at the town's recycling or unloading facility. The petition will be acted upon at the annual town meeting in May. A sum of that $7,000 is being requested for each $40 cubic yard container. A couple of weeks ago, a drug awareness program visited the King Philip Auditorium by an unusual group of actors and actresses. For the details, here's Jason Chandler. This is a very exciting program, and it involved people who used to be drug and alcohol addicts telling the students in a humorous way about drug and alcohol problems.
A short while ago, a troupe of actors called the Improbable Players presented their show at King Philip High School. The production lasted for nearly an hour and a half during 6th and 7th periods. The play was a semi-improvisational theatrical examination of the darker and lighter sides of substance addiction, its effect on the psyche, and its lasting reverberations in the structure of family relationships. The four performers are all experts on the physical and emotional devastation that is caused by alcohol and drugs. All of them are admitted recovering alcoholics and drug addicts who decided to change their lives and their careers by taking on their roles in this very improbable company. The Improbable Players have been around touring with different conceptual experimental shows for the last 4 years. They have performed for many high schools and other organizations during this time. When we talked to actress Lynn Scheel about her involvement in the company, she said that her main purpose in doing the show is to try to show young people what she has had to go through because of her problems with alcohol and drugs. She feels that no amount of lecturing will ever stop kids that drink from drinking, but she feels that maybe young people who are developing addictive tendencies will watch her performance and say, "I don't want that to happen to me." The show was active, funny, and poignant, with a heavy emphasis on characterization. Perhaps the best scenes were the ones concerning a family's struggle with parental alcoholism. The presentation was very believable, so that even the usually unreceptive King Philip audience was moved to inscrutable silence. For the King Philip Newsline, this has been Jason Chandler.
A very interesting contest was held at King Philip Regional High School this past week. The contest was who could write the best excuse for why their library book was overdue. The contest winners won $5 each, and first place went to Sarah McGill, second place went to James D'Amato, and third place went to Gordon Murray. In Wrentham, inconsistency charges against the Wrentham building inspector were mentioned but not detailed at last week's meeting of the Selectmen. Appeals Chairman Paul Pulf attempted to discuss several complaints and came to an immediate halt as Selectmen told him they do not hear those kind of cases. The charges won't be dropped, although, only postponed until further consideration. The Red Cross chairman of Wrentham are holding a fund drive next month to raise money for some upcoming events. They're asking for volunteers from the Wrentham area to go door to door and raise money. Now here's that story with Tavis Morse.
Good evening. I'm Tavis Morse for the King Philip Newsline. With me here today is Pat Siegel, who's the chairman of the Wrentham Red Cross Fund Drive. Now, Pat, for a little background information, what is the Red Cross and what does it do?
The Red Cross in every town in the country has 3 mandated services which it has to carry. The first one is service to military families, the second one is disaster relief, and the third one is bloodmobiles. Over and above that, individual chapters carry numerous varied other services. Some of our other services are a motor core pool for rides for the elderly, a thrift shop with very high quality clothes located at the North Attleboro Chapter House, our food closet for needy families, our holiday baskets for, once again, needy families, and all of our first aid courses, CPR, standard first aid, emergency first aid, etc.
And how did you get involved with the Red Cross?
About 3 years ago, because I was on the Wrentham Ski Committee, one of my assignments was to form a Wrentham ski patrol. One of the requirements for a ski patroller is to be fully trained in Red Cross emergency first aid and CPR. So therefore I searched out a course, and that was my initial introduction.
Now what is the Red Cross trying to do in Wrentham this month with their fund drive?
Because the chapter house is located in North Attleboro, many Wrentham residents are not really attuned to what the services are. My aim this year is to educate the Wrentham people as to the services available. This year, for the first time, when we go door to door for our fund drive, we will leave with every household a volunteer application form and a Wrentham Red Cross information sheet. The sheet lists all of the Wrentham situations that we have been involved in the last year, particularly in the disaster line.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned earlier that you'd like to get teenagers involved more with the Red Cross. Now, how do you plan to do this?
Okay, well, first of all, one of the problems with the Red Cross today is that most of the people involved are the retired age. And because the pace of life is so busy these days, parents who are so involved in community affairs, business, working mothers, etc., the need for volunteers is very great. I think that if we perhaps start involving teenagers, we will now become more attuned to the need, and perhaps those people can serve in the future. One of the key issues that we are dealing with that involves all teenagers is a drug abuse, AIDS, factual information brochure, which of course is something all teenagers should be aware of.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to explain a little bit about the brochure at all?
Well, I'm not totally knowledgeable in the subjects, but the point is that any person who has any questions or interest in the subjects could call the chapter house at 695-6082 and request a brochure and find out what it's all about.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This has been Tavis Morse for the King Philip Newsline. Now, back to the studio.
The Wrentham Recreation Committee will be accepting job applications until April 21st, 1987 for the following positions: lifeguard, swim instructors, playground aide, and recreational maintenance helpers. Applications can be submitted to the Wrentham Recreation Committee, P.O. Box 121, Wrentham, Mass. 02093. Again, that's Wrentham Recreation Committee, P.O. Box 121, Wrentham, Massachusetts, 02093. This past week, we talked to a member of the King Philip Honors Band to find out about their activities and how they're doing in this year's competitions. Here's Jason Chandler with that interview.
Good evening. This is Jason Chandler. I'm here with Joshua Woloff, who just participated with the King Philip Band in the Honors Band program. Joshua, what is the Honors Band?
It's a group of kids from the Nesborough Association going on a trip to either Washington, New York, and places like that to do a parade. And that's basically what you do during it.
And so where did you go for this one?
We went to Washington this year for the Cherry Blossom Parade Festival.
And how did that parade go?
Well, it was sort of short. It was only about a mile long, and there was only 2 turns, basically straight. It was fairly short.
So what instrument do you play?
Saxophone.
And how many other saxophones were there in the Honors Band?
Well, there was about 6 or 7 of us, and we sort of all played the same parts, and it was sort of fun.
What is the music difficult in the Honors Band?
No, they sort of give us like very easy pieces because we have to memorize it while we march it, and so.
How long does the band have to prepare its material?
They usually give it to us about a month before, but this year they didn't think we were going, so we got it about a week or so before, so we had to prepare it somewhat fast.
So that must have been very difficult for the
Sort
entire
of.
band to memorize it in that amount of time.
Well, that was just our band, so everyone else sort of knew it.
I see. So how many students from King Philip's band went into the Honors Band?
There was 8 of us.
Uh-huh. And are you friends with these people?
Yeah.
So there was a certain amount of camaraderie between you and these other people?
Yes.
What's it like to be in a band that has all these people that you don't know in it?
It was fun. You get to meet kids from other schools. You get to find out how their music systems are and how they contrast to ours. And the people are all different. You've never met them. And it's sort of interesting to play music with all of them and make it sound good.
So does it add more difficulty to be playing with people that you don't know?
Not really, because it was a marching band and I was used to that. And everyone basically has done this for a while and would sort of fit together nicely.
So are the people in charge of the Honors Band, are they also in charge of regular high school bands?
Yes, the director this year was from New Bedford, and then all the rest of the directors were from other schools, and they made it a lot easier for us.
What made you decide to participate in the Honors Band?
My friends, they told me about it, and they said it was fun going and meeting everybody, so I decided to join. For this year, I'm not sure if I'm going next year, because it costs money and stuff.
So do you have to do anything really special to be in this, or is it just signing up to be in it?
It's signing up and being able to pay, and usually it's about $240 around there. So it's sort of easy to get in.
Yeah. So do you learn a lot at it?
Yeah, you learn like different kinds of music. Like we didn't play 2 of the same types of pieces, and yeah.
So are you thinking of going on to a career in music?
Most likely, yes. I'm not sure what, but I'd like to.
Well, thank you very much for coming here and talking to us.
All right.
For the King Philip Newsline, this has been Jason Chandler.
Okay.
A controversy was sparked at King Philip Regional High School this morning when a senior homeroom teacher refused to hand out a survey on sex education to her seniors.
This morning, Mrs. Deborah Barrett did not feel that it was appropriate for the seniors to participate in the survey, although the administration had already arranged for the survey to be conducted. The matter is currently under review. This week's Man on the Street segment centers around a reality we all must face: taxes. To find out the people's opinion, we sent reporter Jamie Woloff to Norfolk Center to ask, did you file your taxes on time?
Hi, this is Jamie, your man in the street. Today's question is, did you get your income taxes done on time, and do you think you're overtaxed?
Oh, yes, I did. I didn't pay them, but I got them done on time.
We work for the IRS. Do you think you're overtaxed?
Always.
You filed your income taxes on time this year?
Yeah, sure did.
Do you think you're overtaxed?
No, I think I was taxed very fairly. I'm the chief of police, I have to give you that answer.
I'm sorry, I'm not from this country.
Thank you. Do you intend to live here?
No, I'm leaving to Norway pretty soon.
Oh, thanks. Well,
Ask her what she thinks of the government.
do you think our government is a good government?
Yeah.
What do you think of our income tax laws?
I don't know too much about them. But I think they're harder in Norway.
Are they?
Yeah,
How much do you have to pay?
about 50%. We don't have the tax on everything you buy.
Oh, still, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm good.
Do you think you're overtaxed?
Oh, no, I got a lot back.
Did you file your income taxes on time this year?
Yes.
Do you think you're overtaxed?
No. No.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you think you're overtaxed?
Yeah, definitely overtaxed.
All right.
Yes, I did.
Do you think you're overtaxed?
I most certainly am. I think everybody is.
Did you file your income taxes on time this year?
No. Not yet.
Did you even file your income taxes?
No.
You know, that's illegal.
Who cares?
Any comments?
No.
This has been Jamie Woloff, your man on the street. Now back to the studio.
And now with this week's local sports, here's our sports anchor, Holly Curtis. Holly?
Well, finally, we have a real sports week to talk about, as King Philip has been struggling to make up all those rained-out sports events, besides keeping up with those that were regularly scheduled for this week. The girls' track teams, between running amazing distances, have had 2 meets. And before I give away those scores, I must make you aware that the track began its season by coming up against 2 teams which have consecutively been in first and second place in the league for several years. To North Attleboro, KP lost with a score of 95-41, and to Foxborough they lost 92-44. However, there were some bright parts to these meets. In both meets, Stacey Latham of Norfolk won all 4 of her events, and Leisha Calzaretta placed first in the shot put for both meets. The girls' tennis team taught North Attleboro some tennis tips by beating them 3-2, with Linda Cerulik and Karen Wessinger winning in their double matches. And now the boys' tennis team is just plain hot with talent this year. They all have won their matches this week, which includes defeating Stoughton 3-2, Franklin 5-0, as well as shutting out North Attleboro 5-0. And their team captains, Gordon Murray and Gary Fortier, remain undefeated personally for this season as well. The softball team has done reasonably well in their first action-packed week. They lost to North Attleboro 11-3, and they also lost to Stoughton. But they ended the week up with a clear statement of how the rest of the season would turn out. They came back in the last 2 innings to beat Franklin 15-13. This comeback was sparked by Derry Nelson, who hit a double, and then by Deb Gorman, who followed it up with a hit to left field, and they in turn won the game. Carrie Palace was the winning pitcher. And as far as baseball goes, they beat Franklin 7-0, and they lost North Attleboro 6-5, and then they beat Stoughton 8-6. So they're doing fairly well also. And so that's what's happening at King Philip this week. And if you have time, the athletes would really love your support and fanship, so feel free to come and fill their side of the bleachers. And that's all for sports this week. Back to Fred.
Thank you, Holly. The King Philip High School is holding elections for positions in class government. Greg Nichols, one of the aspiring politicians, gave us this insight on his campaign plans.
Good evening. I'm Tavis Morse. Here in our political forum this evening, we'll be interviewing a candidate for the presidency of next year's senior class, Greg Nichols.
Greg, I'm glad you could join us tonight.
Thank you.
Now, I know a lot of the viewers out there are wondering why you actually decided to run for president this year.
Well, I really don't have any reason in particular. It just seemed like it'd be a fun thing to do, so I'm going out to do it. Basically, it's about right.
I see. if you become president, do you have a main objective that you want to do?
Yeah, well, pretty much. I figure that my class has never really done anything for me, and probably the rest of my classmates feel the same way. So I'm gonna make our class do something for us. I don't know what, but something.
I see. What exactly do you think of your class? Do you like your class? Do you think it's a good, powerful, vibrant class? Or
yeah,
what do you think?
I think our class is pretty cool, and we don't have much class support, but it's fine by me because I don't have any either. But yeah, it's pretty nice.
Do you know anything about your financial situation? Like, is your class a rich class, or do you need a lot of fundraisers next year to make money for your
I think we're pretty poor. We'll probably need some fundraisers, but personally, I'm not too much into them, and I think that we can pretty much get along with not much money, since I'm not really planning on going on any faggot trips or anything, you know. Do something cool, you know.
How do you plan to win your votes? Win from your voters?
Well, on the week of the election, and I really don't know when that is, but sometime in the future. But on that week, I assume I'll find out when it is. I'm gonna do some definite campaigning with posters and flags, banners, 30,000 people, parades, and the like.
I see. Do you already have a lot of people on your side?
Yeah, I think I do. You know, I'm hoping to get a lot of the vocational students their vote, because the way I see it, the rest of my candidates don't really have a chance for them. You know.
I see.
I'm their hope.
Now, who are your opponents, and how do you plan to win over there?
Well, we have Doug Berry and Doug Dixon. I consider them pretty much dark horse opponents, and you know, they'll get some votes from the jocks and from the other people. And then we have like a really dark horse candidate, the darkest, Black.
Uh-huh.
And that's J.D. Frizzell. Expect him to get 1 or 2 votes. And then my only really strong opponent, the way I see it, is Neil Kavanaugh. And I'm really going to have to fight against him. But I think I can win out in the end.
I see.
I really do.
No.
Thank you, Greg. For the King Philip Newsline, this has been Tavis Morse. Now, back to the studio.
Well, according to our weather anchor, we're in for a lousy weekend. Matthew?
Good evening. Definitely, it looks like we're going to be in for a tough weekend. Let's take a look at the national map. If you look on the eastern seaboard, we notice we have another big storm which is coming up the coast, bringing rain and thunderstorms through much of the eastern seaboard. We notice we have thunderstorms and heavy winds that are stretching in through Virginia into North Carolina, into the up Appalachian Mountains. And this is going to be moving up in our way for the most of the weekend, unfortunately. It looks like we're going to have a band of snow continuing up in Canada, but it looks like that will be keeping north of us, and much of our precipitation is going to be rain. If we'll notice, though, down in the south, we have that summer-like weather which is pumping up into this system, giving it lots of moisture, and it's going to take its time as it goes through New England, and it looks like we're going to have a very few unsettled days as we go into the weekend. Saturday and Sunday will even be unsettled, unfortunately. If we continue on out west, we'll notice we have a big clearings patch which will be coming through next week and should be dominating much of next week's vacation weather. We have very warm temperatures, 70s, 80s, and even in the hundreds out in California, where they're having an extreme heat wave going on. And in the Pacific Northwest, we have another storm coming through. This is bringing snow into the Cascades and rain off the coast of Oregon. However, this storm won't be affecting our weather until the end of next week. In the Pacific, we'll notice we have calm weather in the Pacific, so it looks like we could be having a very mellow pattern of weather after this major storm gets on through. Now on to the forecast. Today we had drizzle, winds were in the northeast, and temperatures were rising into the 40s. Tonight we'll have showers, winds will be out of the northeast, and temperatures will be falling into the upper 30s, and most likely near the city into the upper 40s. Tomorrow we'll have heavy rain by the afternoon. Extended outlook is calling for rain on Saturday. Sunday, on Easter Sunday, we will have continued drizzle, and it will be sunny and clearing on Monday. Well, it looks like we're going to have that rain continuing on into the holiday weekend, unfortunately. However, it won't be as bad on Easter Sunday as it will be on Saturday and tomorrow's weather. So we look forward to a better week as we do start off the week. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday should be fairly good with warm spring-like temperatures.
Graduate from college, what will you be able to offer an employer?
I like working with people. I really like working with people. I really like people.
I'm a people person.
I'm eager. I'm eager.
Eager.
I think I'm eager.
And I was president of...
Offer an employer something meaningful, practical work experience. A nationwide college program called Co-op Education can give you that competitive edge.
And I'd even relocate.
Right, Co-op Education. It's the experience you need for the job you want.
We here at the King Philip Newsline appreciate your comments and suggestions. Send them to the King Philip Newsline, care of the Wrentham Access Corporation, Post Office Box 668, Wrentham, Massachusetts 02093. That's the King Philip Newsline, care of the Wrentham Access Corporation, Post Office Box 668, Wrentham, Massachusetts 02093. For Audra, Holly, Matthew, and the rest of the Newsline staff, have a good evening.